What chains bind you? Full moon in Libra, 2nd of April 2026 at 12 degrees. This full moon is asking a simple question. It's asking you to take a fresh look at where Libra falls in your chart and what area of life it represents. The question is what I am bound to still true for me? This is important now, as this part of your chart and your life was disrupted and permanently shifted by eclipses in 2023 and 2024, and now has the transits of Neptune and Saturn and a procession of personal planets through the opposite sign of Aries that are looking to cement these changes. This is a culmination of events seeded during these eclipses, and so I will help you place this time in the context of your past, present, and future. Welcome to Celestial Astrology. I'm Sonia, your host. If you enjoy this, I'd be so grateful for your likes, subscribes, and comments. It really does help as a small channel. I know you've heard it all before, but I really am grateful for each and every one of you. So here's the overview. Let's have a look at how I can help you with this. Suggested journal prompts. At Libra, cardinal air. What a full moon is. The cycles of the moon and moon family. At the Decan of Libra II, which I've called the binding Decan, at Libra II in tarot and verse, and of course always the astrology of this full moon with a conclusion. So clarity may arrive quickly for you now. Events may bring things to a head, so the truth is unavoidable in the bright moonlight. However, knowing what to do with it can take a little bit longer. I work practically with lunar cycles. I help you to understand what is actually unfolding in your chart with a moon family reading, so you can understand where you are actually positioned in this unfolding cycle. If this full moon touches any of your placements or angles within 4 to 14 degrees on the Libra-Aries axis, as well as the other cardinal signs, which is Cancer and Capricorn, which square the full moon, bringing tension in your chart, you are in an important culmination moment. Inside Celestial Circle, we follow these moon family cycles intentionally. This full moon began with a solar eclipse in Libra in October 2024. Eclipse moon families carry longer lasting and more significant storylines for us. We track when the seed was planted, the timing of when pressure builds, and when the story reveals its strength. Just upgrade your membership to paid if you want to join us. If something is shifting in your relationships or your commitments, your sense of direction, you don't have to hold it all alone. So let's look at journal prompts. Journaling can help you get in touch with things that are held deeper in your subconscious. It's a great daily practice, but even if you just do it on the full and new moons, it's still a good intention to start. So here are some ideas that you might like to think about. What has become clear to you about a relationship or an agreement since October 2024? What are you staying loyal to out of habit rather than truth? What feels balanced for you? Does anything feel one-sided? Where do you need to speak honestly, even if it changes things? And what does integrity look like for you now? Libra is a cardinal air sign. Libra season arrives at the beginning of autumn or fall in the Northern Hemisphere. This is when the sun enters the time of the autumn equinox. As well as offering us a key turning point in the wheel of the year, it's also a reminder that we need to shed and release, and how important that process is in the cycle of life. Libra is represented by the image of the scales, seen as a balance of justice. Libra brings its thoughts, communication, and words to the efforts of keeping that balance. Its archetype is often seen as the diplomat, the one in a family who is the peacekeeper, even when it comes at a cost to their own peace of mind. It is yang, or masculine, in expression, but this is a Venus-ruled sign, so we still see the principle of attraction and a focus on relationships. Libra will be attuned to the energy in a room, will consider how they can help rebalance it, and may feel uncomfortably pulled between choices. Venus is currently empowered in her domicile in Taurus. Venus in Taurus moves slowly, with steadiness and reliability. She knows her worth and her values. Venus in Taurus seeks and luxuriates in the sensual pleasures of life. There is no clear line of sight from Taurus to Libra by traditional aspect, but Venus supports the full moon through the principle of liking girding. Libra's exalted ruler Saturn is in Aries, in fall or detriment. This is a place of discomfort, where Saturn must rely on non-conventional skills to navigate its way in unfamiliar territory. Saturn is opposing the full moon, and that creates tension. In Aries, a fire sign, things can move quickly and instinctively. This may create a tension which can feel like seeking clarity, but not having the full picture yet. Feeling uncertain how to hold the commitment that we desire or meet the responsibility and our need for autonomy. Full moons bring our earthly concerns to a form of culmination or visibility. They reveal what has been growing since the new moon and ask for recognition, response, or release. This is a peak in the lunation cycle where awareness ripens and something reaches a state of completion or clarity. In our lived experience, full moons may often feel emotionally heightened. They illuminate dynamics which we can no longer ignore or postpone. In Libra, that illumination shines in the realm of thoughts, relating to others, navigating relationships, and maintaining balance and fairness. We see the moon shining brightly in the sky from our perspective on Earth, as it is opposite the sun. So many of us can see and admire the full moons. That's usually what brings us first to the moon. So the moon is fully able to reflect the sun's light. Nothing is hidden or in shadow. And this symbolizes the illumination of our earthly concerns. Astrologically, the moon cycles can be tracked in several different ways. The most immediate is the monthly lunar cycle, which spans approximately 28 days from the new moon to the next new moon. There is also a 6-month cycle between a new moon and the subsequent full moon, both in the same sign, when the seeds planted during the new moon come to a fuller fruition. So if you're working on a longer term project, you might decide that 6 months is the ideal time to plant a seed in an area of your chart and give it 6 months to come to fruition. So you can also look back at your story over the last 6 months to see what has been growing for you in this time. But there is also a more extended cycle, known as the moon family, as introduced by astrologer Decan in the book Lunar Shadows 3. This is an approximately 27-month cycle, which unfolds as the moon and the sun progress through a series of phases together. The moon always returns to the area of the same degree, forming a longer narrative that begins with the new moon and continues through the quarter moons and the full moon. This creates a hidden thread of lunar gestation for those of us whose natal chart placements are activated by each moon family degree range and by the ruler. So if we remember that the moon is matter and the sun is our spirit, it's the way that the sun and the moon interact to bring what our spirit, our heart's desire into reality, into matter, into our lives. And it gives us this longer timeline to manifest it. I will share my screen. Here are the dates. For this full moon in Libra, the moon family is illuminating a story that began in October 2024 with the solar eclipse that was conjunct Mercury and squared Mars in Cancer. The key dates for this cycle are the new moon, 2nd of October 2024, which was a solar eclipse. The first quarter was on the 2nd of July 2025 at 11 degrees of Libra. The full moon is coming up now as I'm recording this on the 2nd of April at 12 degrees of Libra. And we can also look ahead to the last quarter moon, which will be on the 30th of December 2026 at 9 degrees of Libra. This moon family will most affect those with placements or angles within 4 to 14 degrees of the cardinal signs, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and also those with placements within 4 to 14 degrees of the air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, those with Venus as their perfected Lord of the Year or solar return chart ruler. So if you're not sure if that's you or not, you can also ask an astrologer or astro coach to help you identify if your placements are activated. And we do this work regularly in Celestial Circle, and I will support you with that and help you identify what the moon families mean for participants by looking more deeply into them and pulling out the threads of that story. The cardinal stories or the angular stories tend to be the loudest, but also the more subtle stories can still be very significant, and it helps to identify the story, particularly after the new moon phase. It's less visible, but once you get to the first quarter or the full moon phase, it's really helpful to know what the story is and to work with it. And now we come to the binding decan. The second decan of Libra is ruled by Saturn, both in triplicity and Chaldean order. So this brings a focus of that Saturnian energy. It brings themes of commitment, promises, and trust. Astrologer Kira Ryberg calls it commitment, while astrologer Austin Coppock refers to it as links of a chain, underscoring the forged and binding nature of agreements forged under this decan. Libra II invites us to think about the oaths that we take and the partnerships we commit to. In 36 Faces, Austin Coppock shares that the promises and contracts that link people together are created and tested here. Weak links are exposed, but so also is the true heart revealed. This is thus a face of lasting unions and blended karma. The choice of whom to chain oneself to and under what terms is therefore critical. He continues to discuss how oaths have guardians. For the ancient Greeks, it was the daemon Hawkus. He was brother to one of the Furies, Erinyes, and I apologize if I've butchered that. Hawkus protected oaths and punished those who betrayed their oaths. In the Wild Way Oracle deck, we see the image of ravens in flight in a darkened sky. Between them, they carry a linked chain. We are reminded that every promise carries the potential for betrayal. Either could let go at any time and increase the burden on the other. We are reminded to go carefully into binding promises and to check the terms. The Wild Way Oracle gives us the keywords for this decan of binding together, oaths and promises, and potential for betrayal. This decan challenges us to forge strong, durable bonds without losing sight of our individual freedom. It asks us to be meticulous in entering agreements, as once we've given our word, it holds immense weight. Our oaths and promises then bind us. A release is only possible by causing betrayal and pain. This is a tough decan of hard truths within this Venus-ruled sign. The tarot image for this decan is the Three of Swords. It is often associated with heartbreak and sorrow. We all know that we are at our most vulnerable when we open up to love. The image shows a red heart in a darkened sky, which is half storm clouds and half heavy rain. The heart is pierced by 3 swords with both entry and exit wounds. 2 swords cross each other, entering and leaving the front, with the third running vertically down the center of the heart, entering the front and leaving the back of the heart. The symbolism of this card can indicate that this moon family and full moon may bring some painful realizations or revelations, particularly around relationships or commitments. However, it also signifies clarity. Swords symbolize truth, clarity, words, and knowledge. And while the truth may hurt, only the truth can lead to healing and growth. Any uncomfortable truth revealed, especially around this time of the full moon, offers the opportunity to learn and evolve, especially when we are willing to confront difficult truths about ourselves or others close to us. In Dreaming the Decans, T. Susan Chang captured the essence of this decan's story in verse. This is an excerpt. The thing that you know all too well, the fantasies you must dispel. Hard choices make a person wise. Commit to what you realize. Shadow work. I know my pain is fruitful as the dark grey rain. In case you are concerned, I have reproduced shadow as it was shown in print. It is not an error. So let's go to the astrological conversation. The moon in Libra is reflecting the light of the sun in opposite Aries. And the sun is exalted here. It is shining with direct emotional honesty from its solar-ruled decan of exaltation, known as the crown. The moon in Libra is trying to hold your relationships together, to weigh things carefully, to consider both sides. There is tension between what they each seek. The sun in Aries is leading from the front. It has newly separated from Neptune and Saturn and has this renewed sense of identity. The moon in Libra is a little tender after separating from its opposition to Libra's ruler Saturn as it prepares to square Jupiter and keeping its home waters nurtured in Cancer. The moon seeks to find peace in relationships and bring emotional harmony to those it meets. The sun and moon are both applying to a degree-based square to Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is now direct and strong in its exaltation. The sun is superior to Jupiter and therefore sets the agenda for their connection, just as Jupiter sets the agenda for the moon. It is Jupiter at the tip of this T-square, which feels the tip of the full moon tension. You may find your Cancer house also affected by this full moon, with emotional investments and deep loyalties placed under pressure. Or you may find yourself overextended. Look at the themes of your Cancer house for more information. There is hidden nuance as the ruler of Aries, Mars, makes a secret connection known as contra antitia with Libra's exaltation ruler Saturn. This has the effect of a hidden or secret opposition, one that the main players, the Moon, Sun, and Jupiter, are unlikely to be aware of as they make their plans. Think of a double agent with ill intent, sabotaging plans that they verbally support. To deepen the nuance of this planetary conversation, Mercury, which is averse to both of the luminaries in Libra and Aries, is in a tighter trine with Jupiter from Pisces. You may feel that you instinctively know what needs to be said to help heal or resolve any difficult situation, or when another's efforts or care need to be acknowledged. Think of Mercury and Jupiter offering compassionate truth together, which could move swiftly and surprise you. And finally, this full moon may be uncomfortable or painful, but it will be honest, and it is asking for the same honesty from you. Do you offer that honesty with compassion to yourself first, before you extend it to others? If you are moving through Libra well, you will need to keep this kindness at the front of the agenda, as we are often our own harshest critic. The key here is the Libran concept of balance, and also ensuring that we extend that to all in our circle, starting with ourselves. In a class I am participating in this week, I wrote in my notes before I was asked to share that saying, comparison is the thief of joy. It turned out another classmate shared the same quote before I did. Isn't synchronicity wonderful? Sometimes that balance we seek doesn't even come from holding everything together. Consider if the bonds and oaths that bind you are still aligned with the new you that is emerging from this new astrological year in Aries. Would it help to adjust your structure or your strategy altogether? Saturn is standing by in Aries to assist you with this work. I find it helps to identify the story which began for you in October 2024. You are called to adjust it in some form in July 2025, and this will help you understand the full picture of what is being illuminated now through this lens. It will also help prepare you to move into the integration and release in 9 months' time, if you do feel yourself called to release from a commitment or a bond. And thank you for listening all the way through. If you've enjoyed this, I would be so grateful for your likes, comments, subscribes. It really does help a small channel to grow and to reach other people who may also be interested in the same type of astrology. I'm so grateful for you all. Thank you. Travel well.